Hey, it's Drybear. PAX East is this weekend for the First Descendant, and they will be bringing some devs there with some cosplayers and some goodies and giveaways. However, we are not yet done with all of the official dev responses that have happened over the last week or two, so let's continue on with our trek. Starting with this response, people have been asking, hey, who's going to be at PAX East? We know there's going to be a Serena cosplayer, a Bunny cosplayer. They're going to be giving away goodies, and there's going to be online digital goods as well. But people have been asking, hey, who's going to be at PAX East this weekend going into it? So you think, oh, it's going to be a community team member or something. No, actually, both directors, the production director and the game director, are going to be there at PAX East. They're traveling from Korea over here, and a new member of the dev team. So I guess they one of the new hires is coming along for that as well. So they are going to be there. And if you know, the people that have been answering these Q&As and, you know, focusing on the development of the game and being a big part of it, showing up on their dev streams and stuff, those people are going to be there. So if you wanted to chat with them, hang out with them, I don't know how much English they know, considering PAX East is in the United States. Yeah, I don't know. We'll just have to see how it goes. But if you're at PAX East, be sure to say hi. Next, there was a question around the group restrictions on modules. This is something that when the game first came out was a huge problem, a massive problem, and a massive oversight from the game design team to leave it the way that it was. So I think it's a very good question, because when the game came out, there was like, you know, you had modules like Real Life Fighter or Mental Focus taking up the same exact, like, mutually exclusive category as modules that were 1/10 their efficacy, which meant there was literally no reason to ever run like the elemental based yellow modules and things like that. So the question was, hey, can we just remove the group restrictions on these modules and let people put in whatever the heck they want in their build? And the response from the director was, if we remove the group restrictions on Descendant modules, we anticipate that unexpected combinations could lead to even greater inflation issues, which it would. He's right about that. In the past, we have implemented patches to adjust groupings for certain modules, which have been quite effective, and similarly, we plan to carefully review and only reorganize the groups for modules where such changes are deemed appropriate. So over the last, like I said, over the last 5 or 6 months, they've done a pretty good job of adding new categories like the luck category, or adding new options to the existing categories like battle or attack. You know, adding in like the crit modifiers, adding in the ones that increase cooldown but give you more skill power, things like that. And I think they've been doing a good job on that recently, so I hope they just kind of continue down that road. But you certainly don't want no restrictions, because then everyone would just run all of the damage mods and nothing else, right? Like, that would be the meta, and then if you don't run that, then you're just not going to deal enough damage compared to other people, and you're just going to be, everyone's going to be glass cannon. So I do think that the mutually exclusive group requirements for the modules are needed. They just need to be carefully monitored so that they're reasonable and effective for what they're supposed to do, and we never fall back to the state we were in when the game launched, which was pretty abysmal. Next, there were some further questions around the upcoming Party Finder feature coming in Season 3. I think that, like, people kind of either play like me, where you're pretty much always solo, or you have like a kind of a core group of people you play with. But again, as the population of the game fluctuates, you have friends that might be taking a break from the game or quitting. It's good to be able to reconnect people that they can play with. So there's just questions on how is the Party Finder going to work. We know from yesterday's update that they are going to have like tags that you can set on the Party Finder. So you can say, hey, I'm doing, you know, Sigma Sector, or I'm doing Void Vessel, or whatever. However, there's more questions on that today, and the response from Victor was, in the Party Finder menu, you will be able to set preferences based on language, region, and network speed. By loosening the setting range, we plan to support the ability to find party members from other regions as well. So you will be able to say, hey, in my language and within a reasonable level of latency. I don't know how much it actually matters. Mainly, I mean, I guess the only major problem is that because we still have player collision, if someone's lagging quite a lot, connected to a proxy that's closer to you, you may end up running into them a lot more or getting stuck on them. But in general, it shouldn't be too much of a problem for you. Like, I don't know why you need to limit the latency of others. It should be okay, depending on, you know, how good that lag correction is. But they've confirmed you will be able to set language, region, and network speed as options for your preferences, and you will also be able to group with people from other regions as well, if you prefer. Next, there was a huge, like, novel post from someone giving feedback on the social system in the First Descendant around friends lists, adding people, searching for people, even finding creators and stuff like that. And their biggest gripes were around just being able to locate the player that you need, because you need to have both their name as well as the number attached to it as well. And even cases like where you group with someone random and you want to talk to them after and invite them, or you want to thank them for something that they did, finding them, they said, is a little bit difficult. So they'd like to see improvements there. So the director responds with, currently the system requires complete matching of settings for searches, which means you need their full name and the numbers that come after it in order to see them. So without modifying the system structure itself, it would be difficult to implement this immediately. Therefore, we cannot promise to proceed with this suggestion right away. However, we believe that strengthening social features is a key area that must be continuously improved on over the long term. We will add your suggestion to our improvement list and consider it when reviewing new stuff. So yeah, there you go. Next, taking a turn into the dark side, there was a doomer in the in the Q&A, and they were basically asking like, hey, we realize that the player base is declining, and we definitely, from the Nexon earning calls and from your guys' responses in the Q&A, it does seem like Nexon is getting a little, a little antsy about the game overall. So someone just asked point blank, hey, are we seeing a skeleton crew for the First Descendant, and are you guys working on a new title or on something else? And the director responds flat out, the entire development team is participating in Season 3. Participating is kind of an interesting word, and that might just be a translation thing, but at least from the director's point of view, it's full steam ahead. There's no changes. They have their crew, and they're working on TFT Season 3 and Season 4 and all that stuff to make the game better. From his admission, there is no cause for concern at the current time. Next, there was a suggestion around Yujin, a character that has really just... He showed up for Deathstalker, but he hasn't really been super useful outside of that in general, just because there was so much chip damage in that fight. But there was a suggestion on the Q&A like, hey, if you guys are going to do a Ultimate Yujin or a Yujin rework, can you please add in a module or modules or options for Yujin for him to be able to deal damage? And there was a second request with this question as well, is that when you guys add a damage option for Yujin, can you keep it with the overall theme of Yujin? So for example, maybe the amount of damage he deals is based on like his HP heal modifier, or maybe the amount of healing he does increases his damage or modifies his damage somehow. So he still is like the medic character, and he's able to buy into that theme, and he's able to deal damage based on how well he's being a medic. And the response from the director was, we will take your suggestion into consideration as we prepare the Transcendent modules, the new ones for Yujin. Also, it's actually already in progress. So they are currently working on new Transcendent modules for Yujin, potentially even buffs or reworks for him as well. And it's something that they're taking under advisement. So I guess Yujin is in our future. Next was a juicy question that I think a lot of people are asking right now in the First Descendant, which was around, hey, can we get more end game content, like meaningful end game content, like a thing that a tower we have to climb that isn't just use this one Descendant with this one weapon and do it over and over and over until you have 10,000 of this one material, right? Like more meaningful end game content. And I think a lot of people would agree that that is the biggest problem that TFT has right now. It just doesn't have much meaningful end game content. They even suggested an idea where, hey, we have like the void intercept, then we have the hard void intercept, and we have the abyss void intercept. Could we potentially even get like an abyss infiltration operation? So like instead of 400%, what about 800% or 1200% or 5 million billion % dungeons? Like, could we get more meaningful endgame content? And the director responded with, thank you for the great feedback. We fully agree that more endgame content is needed, and it is one of our key focuses for Season 3. So by the way he's describing it here, they're hoping that Axian Plains, the new area for the endgame, is a cool endgame activity for a lot of people and helps solve that problem even more so. We believe it is important to prepare various types of endgame content where different Descendants can shine in their own ways. The Abyss Infiltration Operation you suggested also sounds like a great type of endgame content where skill-based damage dealers can play a significant role. As we plan for a broader range of endgame content in our long-term roadmap, we will carefully consider consider your idea as well. Also, loading screen wallpapers are available on our website if you wanted to check it out. Next was a question around the leaderboards and mentioning that like the leaderboards for normal Void Erosion Purge feel not really that important, and can you just get rid of them kind of thing since challenge is more important. I would actually disagree with that sentiment, mainly because the Void Erosion Purge challenge is a one-time thing. So I think I feel like the leaderboards for the Void Erosion Purge challenge are going to get stale over time, because once you've completed the Void Erosion Purge challenge, all the levels, and you've got the one-time rewards, I don't know if it's not going to be healthy or competitive anymore, because people are going to stop doing it because you only get one-time rewards, you know? So I feel like having the normal mode still have the leaderboards is useful, especially for people that just want to play and look at references for things like that. I think they still need to expand it. It would be great to be able to view the player's like full build as a reference, like, hey, you know, I'm trying to learn X, or I'm trying to play this character. Let me see what the top players are doing right now. I think that would help a lot of new players get into the game and build characters, especially something that came up yesterday on my YouTube comments, which was, I feel like at the game state right now, I can't find builds online. Like everything's on YouTube as a build for characters, and a lot of the builds are very outdated. Like you have a lot of builds that were made when the game came out, but as far as like build makers and theory crafters now for the First Descendant, there's only a couple left remaining, and the rest are just, you know, people that are gaming and posting their favorite builds on online message boards, right? So I think that having the normal Void Erosion Purge leaderboard is actually quite important, and I think they should continue to update that so you actually see builds, as it would be good for players as a reference point. But the director says, yes, there were discussions in the development team about removing the leaderboard for normal Purge when they added challenge. However, we decided to keep the leaderboard even though its significance has been diminished. We believe that improving personal best records is still an enjoyable aspect of the repeated gameplay, and I agree. We will visit this matter during the course of Season 2, Episode 2, and reveal the possibility of a full organization around the time of Season 3. So later this month, they're going to look at it, and they'll keep looking at it through the summer as well, and just see how things go. As previously mentioned, we are preparing improvements to enhance the efficiency of skill-based damage dealers in normal Void Erosion Purge, which they already did, and they're going to do more of as well. We're aiming to implement these changes in the May 22 update, so look forward to it. Next, there's a question of, can you guys look at the negative effects on modules and some of the equipment things? They're just like super like they're a huge fan of Kiss Curse, like positive effect, negative effect kind of thing. And someone in the Q&A was complaining like, hey, some of these just feel excessive or unfun. So like, you know, a bunch of minus movement speed or something like that. And the director responds, we will review whether the negative effects are excessive compared to the positive effects and proceed with improvements, starting with modules that have low effectiveness, which is kind of just saying, hey, this is part of our process. We're just going to keep looking at these and see if we can improve them. If we can, we will. If we feel like they're good, we're going to leave them. But it doesn't sound like they intend to, you know, back off of the Kiss Curse mentality that they have for the game as a whole. Next is a pretty interesting suggestion. The question asker mentions that, you know, could we get some features that help alleviate the problem where people dodge queues, right? Like this is very common in really any online game, but they're talking specifically about situations where you join a setup and, you know, like you matchmake into it, and maybe you're doing like Sigma Sector or something like that. You join in and everyone's a roach, or like everyone's a leech. Like no one has a good mobbing build. Everyone's hoping someone else has a good mobbing build. Or maybe you queue up for Void Erosion Purge and it's very clear that your group is not going to clear it, right? Everyone's underpowered. You know, it's too hard. It's not going to work, that sort of thing. In that situation, you have people that dodge, like they just hit escape and leave the queue because it's just not going to complete. And so they suggested, could we get a vote to end feature that gets everyone out at once, rather than, you know, some people dodging ship and leaving those on board to just suffer for themselves, versus that sort of thing. And the director even himself admits, I also tend to use the move immediately to Albion feature in such situations. So even he just dodges like a roach, just gets out of there. So thank you for your thoughtful suggestion. Since missions in the First Descendant are relatively short, adding a vote system may not be very effective in practice. However, we will internally check if there's a way to distinguish players who leave due to errors within the system. That would be good. So like, obviously you don't want to be like penalizing people that crash for being people that just dodge queue, but it is kind of like an interesting thought experiment. But I will leave that there for today to keep the video from getting way too long, but that is the latest update and responses from the developers. Keep in mind we still have PAX East starting this Thursday, so there will be goodies and stuff, and there will be cosplayers at the event, professional cosplayers, and then on Sunday they're doing their big dev live stream on the main PAX East broadcast. So we'll just have to wait and see for that. But let me know what you think about the comments from the developers today. If you found value in today's video, leave a like down below, leave a comment for the algorithm to help this video get seen by more people, and don't forget to check out my other channels for other content and other stuff and other things.